Hi, guys. Welcome to Keep Hope Alive podcast and Party Time Texas podcast. We have a great show today for you. If you love food and you like the presentation, I have the right guest speaker here today with us. His name's Uwe. So we're going to get started on that in just a little bit. But when you're planning events and stuff and going to have the fancy meals and sitting down, it's always about the presentation and how the food tastes, right? So we have that. So we are going to be diving into the detail of what it is to be a chef and cook it, but the personality that goes into the food and what is the chef thinking? I always like to know that. So we're going to dive in with Hubert today and go over that. So today our show is sponsored by lifeonrecord.com. So Life on Record offers this wedding guest book. I'm going to just be myself here and talk about it. I will say wedding guest book. It can be for any event that you have, that it provides a fun interactive experience for you and your guests. With Life on Record telephone guest book service, your guests can call on their own cell phones before or even after the event. They can use a distinctive vintage rotary phone too that would be provided. All recordings will go through a noise cancellation and speech enhancement process, and you can make it more interactive with their QR codes. They have a keepsake speaker and a 12-inch vinyl record that you can burn all the messages on. So all plans start at $99, and it includes that toll-free number for 1 full year. Learn more about lifeonrecord.com and they can get you situated. Our phone number for Keep Hope Alive, and you can call us with any questions for our guest speakers, or if you want to hear a topic that you want me to talk about, our phone number is 833-780-HOPE. So, like I told you guys today, we have a special guest, Hubert. I'm going to just call you Hubert because I love it. I have the pleasure of meeting him, and he's brilliant, smart. He knows what he's doing in the world, but my conversations with Hubert in the past has been amazing. He's taught me a lot of stuff, and I just want to welcome you to our show. Take my glasses off because they bug me, but I want to bring in, so I know with your stuff that you do, you throw the word concierge into this. So what is a concierge and chef? Can
Well, thank you first for having me, and not only that, but how can I live up to these accolades? What makes it culinary concierge? A concierge, it makes somebody that has the experience of a lifetime and brings that experience together of knowing people, of knowing where the bodies, or rather the wonderful foods, are buried to be explored, and offers that to their clients. I can take you to wonderful locations, from restaurants, from having dinner in a cave to having dinner outside, of any wonderful location that you can imagine, as well as bring it to your home. And my name is Uwe, and I'm going to tell you a story today. And the story is about, what does it take to be a cook? Everybody wants to be a chef. I just want to be a great cook. That's all that matters. If you think this is a cooking show, I have to disappoint you. It's not. No food.
wait, no
I
food can
was
come through
born,
the screen.
you know, I thought I was going to bring some, but I decided not to. I was born in Germany and at the age of 16, I entered an apprenticeship to become a cook, not a chef. That word is not even being used in that context over there. So I had quite a ways to go. The restaurant I choose, and I would like to say that choose me, was in my hometown, an idyllic little town in the River Valley, not far from the modern metropolis of Düsseldorf, where I went to school. Right on the Rhine River, 300 plus seats, classic French cuisine, everything from scratch, in-house bakery, in-house butchering, It gave me a very, very thorough education over the next 30 months. Now, if you think that made me a chef, no, it did not. It just gave me the basics to build upon. And yes, not to forget, looking at how today's apprenticeships work, I had room and board and $50 a month spending money. Couldn't get richer than that. Now, there are two executive chefs during my tenure. Both were in their 40s and both started drinking early in the morning, usually finishing their first six pack by 10 a.m., even before the restaurant opened for lunch. Those are kind of like the bylines of what happened within the culinary industry. You know, if you read Anthony Bourdain's kitchen book, then you will see that all those things happen in old kitchens. And, you know, did all that teach me how to cook? No, they didn't. I learned by watching, by copying, and by, attending school once a week. Now, my favorite station in the kitchen, and that has quite a quite a bit held throughout my life, is called garde manger in French. And it's basically the cold preparation in a kitchen. And here you would translate that to beautifully styled buffets, charcuterie platters, and so forth. I was able to participate in some contests as an apprentice and win some creative awards. And one of them was for a chessboard done out of 32 squares of truffle and 32 squares of egg white on a roast beef. It was a wonderful experience and shows me at 17 years old of what I could do. The next years were travels. I went from Belgium to France to America with my eyes and my palate open. New experiences, new flavors, new smells, new everything. And then I went to the other side of the river where the grass was greener. Uh-oh. I went into management or hospitality management, the
Okay.
dreaded four-letter word. and I came to Memphis with Holiday Inn. And to explain that, Holiday Inn was a company that transferred me from Brussels, Belgium, to Memphis, Tennessee, my way to America. And this was the time of, hotel restaurants having buffets, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're talking about the 70s. And what do you do with all that leftover food? Well, my boss and I wrote how to use leftover cookbook the first time I was exposed to that. I call it breadcrumbs along the way. And let's talk about, then came Nashville in the 70s, a far cry from what it is now. Still country music. You know, I remember sitting at Massey Auditorium in 1973 when the singer introduced a song that I think all of you know. It's called Drift Away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I'll be lost in my rock and roll and drift away. And that was a song that the girlfriend at the time had a part in writing. She was a professional songwriter. But what about food? A group of investors convinced me to take over a restaurant that they had just finished called Alliston Hall, an antebellum mansion from 1913. 7 different dining rooms just down the street from the place called Exit Inn. The Exit Inn was the showplace, star-studded showplace, to start tours for Jack Daniels Band, Meat Loaf, the national opening tour of Johnny Taylor, etc. And and where would they come and eat? Alliston Hall. And and soon we were accumulating accolades for what we called our hill country, European hill country food. And at the start, I had hired a CIA chef. That was the beginning of the CIA. We're talking about the 70s. And that lasted about 2 months. Unfortunately, the gentleman was more about being a CIA grad than about cooking. So what did I do? I go ahead and hired a line cook from the highest regions. I trained him exactly how I wanted. Together we did amazing. I discovered my love for creating foods, tantalizing foods. The following years, I spent writing menus, training chefs in restaurants and food companies in locations such as, Miami, New York, and Montreal. Coming to Dallas was a big game changer because here I've been the longest, and then I've been anywhere. And I ended up being exposed to barbecue. I've never seen that before. It's not something that's done in Europe, or pretty much at that time anywhere else in the country.
Yeah.
And spent a year, yeah, in assisting opening a large concept, several locations. And even though I do not eat or prepare a lot of barbecue, and at this point I'm not pretty much not eating meat, it was an amazing education whose elements would be used in other future applications. So, sometimes you will be exposed to something that will hang on and follow you through. So next came a month of traveling back and forth to California, condemned to eat El Pollo Loco over and over until I copied the marinade for a Dallas restaurant group. Breadcrumbs along the way, as I call it. So yeah,
Okay.
and then there was a little interlude of where I traveled back and forth to Kansas City, finally copying, tasting and copying the recipe for cinnamon bun. Not so good for my slim life, but I made it after several tasting trips and finally cracked the formula. Again, more breadcrumbs along the way.
Yeah.
It's just I consider those little bitty exploring trips my breadcrumbs. Over the next months, I worked on creating a barbecue sauce, a lasagna for Southern Corporation, various spice mixes, a compound butter, a little bit of everything, and again, more breadcrumbs along the way. Then I had the wonderful opportunity of being hired by Richard Marcus as food service director and training chef. And then Neiman Marcus Dallas in the 80s uh, gave me the opportunity to play with food, to play with food in an environment that supported it, that loved it, made food passion. I remember we did breakfast in bed at Channel 8 in the morning at Mother's Day and cooking on the show. And it was a wonderful response. And then I was fortunate to have been exposed to Dallas icons. I've met Stanley Marcus, who certainly is one of the major icons of anything in Dallas, from fashion to any support that the city needed. And he came to breakfast several times a week to the North Park Zodiac. His breakfast, half a grapefruit, brown sugar under the salad. That was
Yum.
it. And when you spend a little time with a gentleman as such, or an individual as such, I literally felt I was in the presence of greatness. And but that was one of the major parts of my 80s as far as being exposed to uh, individuals. Now, at Neiman Marcus, I started the implementation of bi-weekly small international tasting menus, which
Hmm.
were quite a success. I was very involved in Neiman Marcus's epicure by creating salads and quick meals to take home.
Hmm.
And I met, for the first time, I met Wolfgang Puck because he came to Neiman Marcus, a young guy, with his wife, Barbara Lazaroff, and introduced his very first cookbook in epicure. Very quiet, very shy individual to meet. He
Hmm.
certainly is. So that China, and that was my extent of Neiman Marcus. And my next staircase of my journey uh, took me to UNT, the University of North Texas, that as a full faculty member and teaching hospitality management and culinary management, and as well as supervising the student-run kitchen at College Inn
Oh,
once a
wow.
week. Which was a wonderful, which was a restaurant that was open to the public, and the parents and friends and relatives and anybody, and of course the professors of school would come and have lunch, of which the students prepared every week based upon a certain theme. Also, not only that, we would have a Dallas Fort Worth guest chef, a notable guest chef, usually somebody that had a restaurant in the market here, and that would cook with the students to accomplish that meal. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience for them. And all of those things led me deeper and deeper back into the journey of food, and that I had, briefly abandoned. And that journey led me to teaching at international cuisine at Cordon Bleu. You know, um, how did this little apprenticeship guy from Germany end up at an institution such as Cordon Bleu? Well, basically, push and shove. That's how you do it. You don't
Yeah.
just smile and fill out an application. A little sideline story there is, well, first I knew one of the chefs. Laurent was his name, who used to have a restaurant in Dallas, and he called me up and said, "Uwe, can you maybe come in for 2 3 hours a week and help us? We just opened the school and we're short on teachers, and can you help us out?" And I said, "Sure." Well, I still had to go through the application process, and a sideline story there is that as part of that interview, you have to prepare a dish for a group of 10 chef judges that sit in front of you. Yeah, you've got your little kitchen, your little burner, and these guys are sitting there looking at you. What's she gonna do? What's she gonna prepare? And you looking at them and think, are they gonna bite? No, they
Yeah.
did. It goes back to when I think of my English teacher in high school, he would say, if you in front of a class, just imagine them in their pajamas.
Okay. That makes
They're a lot
sense.
less threatening. Yeah. So anyhow, what did I make? I made something called omelette confiture, a fluffy European omelette, slightly soft in the center, filled with warm raspberry marmalade and caramelized sugar on the top.
That sounds
For
really good.
breakfast, they were blown away. And afterwards, and I got the job, and they wanted 2 more omelets. And after I got the job, I became part of that panel down the road of judging future chefs. And
Wow.
I saw them prepare elaborate meals, 1 course, 2 course, side orders, this and that, butchering, and not get the job because they got buried
Oh.
down in the details and didn't follow through. And here is this guy. All I made was a perfect omelet, and I got
Mm-hmm.
the job. Breadcrumbs along the way, as I
Breadcrumbs
like
along the way.
to
I like
say.
that.
I mean, that was one of the biggest breadcrumbs, and a lot of the students at Cordon Bleu were in apprenticeships in the Dallas market, and they also, some of them were working stage, which is basically stage. Working in the restaurant is a word that stands for, okay, I work for free, just feed me as long as I can learn. So a lot of
Yeah.
them did that. Yes, but every coin has 2 sides. The Cordon Bleu Dallas is gone. The Cordon Bleu America is gone. Why? Why would such an institution go? Because the American Cordon Bleu was unfortunately a franchise
Mm-hmm.
operation. And why it's not around anymore is there's one simple word actually. It's called greed. Greed of the people that owned the company and had purchased the concept. When you have a school where it is all about emotions, the emotions of food and flavors, and it becomes all about enrollment, somewhere on the line, it just doesn't work. They did not understand that our business is about emotion, food, experience, flavor, smells, taste. That all is part. That's the gratification for the long hours we spend. Don't sell a product 2 years ago, $60,000. So as you see, after all of this, it only took me a couple of years to become a chef.
Yeah, definitely.
True. It took 20 plus years, Nadine, of learning, teaching, learning, practicing creativity, learning and taught me other elements such as being able to pivot, speed,
Yeah.
patience, politeness, empathy, and the ability to approach any type of food, preparation with confidence,
Yeah.
and well, and to have fun doing it, which is what has led me to becoming a culinary concierge. The ability to focus on the needs with
Mm-hmm.
100% accuracy of my customers and providing exactly with what they want, with a slight twist, as I like to add. Now, remember, with the advancement of AI, even as our mobile phones, we have transactional conversations. We go to McDonald's and say, I want a number five, no pickles. That's
Exactly.
transactional conversation. Let us not forget the creation of culinary dreams of foods is an emotional conversation. It is the other side of the spectrum of life. So I would like to stay exposed to the emotional side of it.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me what my favorite food is. Usually I'm a smart ass and I say good food. But uh, it's really Mediterranean food with a heavy Spanish influence.
Yeah.
Catalonia, with its capital of Barcelona, is the Spanish culinary capital. Birthing lights like El Bulli and Chef Fabian Area with molecular cuisine. El Bulli is one of the most talented artists of this generation. And but again, I have to say something to that. If I go out to eat and I quote another chef, I want substantial food.
Uh-oh. I can picture
That
you
was
going out to eat. This
that
was
was
not made right.
that was said by Marco Pierce White. It's a British chef who was the first one in England to receive 3 Michelin stars, and he returned them.
Oh,
He
wow.
said, "I don't need Michelin stars. I am good without
Mm-hmm.
Michelin." So that was his expression of that. And basically, kind of in closing about the journey, and then you can really launch into some questions if you like to. I hope. I would like to reiterate what Jose Andres with World Central Kitchen, which I think everybody should be familiar with by now. A company, the gentleman that will go anywhere there's a need to feed people. He stated just last this week, with a new country to the Middle East, we don't need more political peace. What we need is longer tables and lower walls. It is our job to nurture and feed people in a time of need. Nothing else. So, all you aspiring cooks out there, carry on, live, enjoy, and learn. And start
Yeah.
your journey.
Yes. And I
So,
know.
I'm open now.
Well, I'm going to ask you some questions because, your knowledge and across the world and learning all this. You mentioned you started as a young kid and you had a passion for cooking. So there's a difference. People will go to work, maybe they like their job or they don't, or they're passionate, like with what they do. For me, I grew up and I knew at age 14, I wanted to be an event planner. I wanted to do weddings. I had no idea I wanted to be a photographer, but that's what I ended up doing. So I had the coordinating, the photography, and I love it. And I love sales and marketing. So when you put all those together, then it's wonderful to have a job where you can be passionate and go do what you like to every day. And the same for cooking. It is a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie, I've watched the cooking show. I guess I got intrigued. I'm not much of a cook, but I will tell you, I will go and back in the day I was concierge for Omni Hotel, but Wear Magazine, on the Concierge Association. I was a part of that, but we got to go to some new restaurants and try out their food, which it was like being a food critic. They wanted to know what we thought of it and stuff like that. So I think it was Abacus and Jeroboam. I remember going to those two, and there's a few others we went to try. But the presentation, like when I do events, you were like, you have the sit down dinners and plate it, and you're looking at the decoration of how they decorate the desserts or how the salad's presented and the meals. So there's courses, right, to teach you how to decorate food, correct?
Well, you know, we were talking about passion. I don't have a passion for food. I have a passion for life. So the different elements that make up my life over the decades, you know, have been forming who I am and what I do. You know, I have a passion for fast cars. I have a passion for wonderful entertainment. I have a passion for beautiful women. I have a for passion, and in whichever form it arrives at my front door, and that is what makes me, you know, look at life that way.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. So, also you, I know you talked about, before when we've met, I guess it's a balance of eating the right foods. Is that correct? I know you've talked about like how you made some of your foods and make sure they're nice and healthy for people to really enjoy. So, what's one of the healthiest meals that you've made?
One of the healthiest meals. I'm myself leaning towards being a vegan, and so why do I do this? Again, it is something born out of passion. You know, mankind does not need to eat meat in order to survive and thrive. And I have a passion for animals. Animals of different kinds. So the idea of killing animals so I can eat them does not work for me at all. And so the most healthiest meals I've done are filled with meat totally. And you know, I still use some of the dairy products, but I use a lot of pasta. Um, I use a lot of wonderful. I mean, we make a pasta with roasted garlic mushrooms and zucchini, and you won't even notice. You won't even miss the meat on the pasta because the flavor of umami is so strong from the roasting of the garlic and all those the butters and the olive oil that it's a very satisfying meal that you have. So that would be one of my favorite meals to prepare on the healthy end of the non-meat side.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now you're at Starbucks, you said, right?
And one of my favorite hot tea. It's
I have to laugh at that because it sounds like if nobody knew where you were right now for this interview, they're like,
everybody knows now. I mean, that's
it's
the
like, what
thing.
are they doing? Banging and breaking things? I have to laugh at that as it goes along. So you do, like you mentioned, the private parties, more in-home
Yes, I
instead of
do private
catering.
dinners, and they can range anywhere from if it's up to 8 people, it's just me. If it's 8 to 12, it's me plus an assistant that I bring along. Because everything I do is very intricate. I only use fresh products. I do not
Okay.
use any, processed products or pre-made products. And everything is done from scratch, right there in the client's home. And it not only makes for good food, but it makes for good entertainment too. And usually I have everybody gathering around me while I cook. And then we can go to larger events. Of course, once they become bigger, then it becomes a catered event. And I want to stress that I'm not a caterer anymore. I did that.
Yeah.
But I can bring in caterers that will then, I become the consultant to what they prepare based upon what the client is looking for. And like the last one I did was for the hotel ladies of the Premium Symphony Travel Group. I did Paella Valencia, which is out of Catalonia, of course. And paella is a wonderful dish. You know, the dish is actually named after the pan. The flat
Hmm.
bottom steel pan is called the paella. And so many people think they hear, oh, paella, seafood. No. The original paella started out in the Caribbean, and it was a leftover dish, and still is, for shepherds. You know, throwing some rice, throwing whatever vegetables you have, plenty
Yeah.
of onions, anything you have, and maybe some goat or some sheep or rabbit, what they have, and cook it. And
Yeah.
that was paella. And then, as it happens with so many things, a traveler tasted it and loved it. And the traveler went down to the ocean and thought, well, why can't we duplicate that with seafood? And this is
Oh
how
wow.
seafood paella was established. So people travel to Spain, and they don't visit the Caribbean Mountain, they visit the coast. So they get exposed to seafood paella, and they come back and say, oh, it's seafood paella. But there are always variations in the theme. And so definitely now when I make a paella, I pretty much use
Yeah.
both sides of the coin. Usually the average paella I give me, you use some pork, some chicken, you use shrimp, you use scallops, you use mussels at the very end, and a lot of course, one of the indigenous ingredients is saffron. Saffron is probably the most expensive thing going into the paella.
Hmm.
Saffron is why it is so expensive. It's picked by hand. They have
Okay.
to pick all by hand. There's no machine that has ever invented that can do that. And Spain is the number one exporter of saffron. So that that is so much on paella, and there are so many dishes. You know, somebody asked me the other day about pasta. Can you do a pasta dish for us? And you know, if you look at dry pasta in the store, high quality dry pasta, the dough is pretty much all the same. The shapes are different. Why are the shapes different? Because of the sauce that can lift the sauce
Oh
to
wow.
make them out.
Yeah.
If you were up here for spaghetti and meat sauce, I don't know who came up with it. It's wrong.
Hmm.
But it is not the noodle for meat sauce. You need to use a Caterer, which is a whiter noodle, because it can scoop up the sauce and make you enjoy it much more, and you won't have that puddle of sauce left on the plate after you eat the spaghetti. So anyhow, and
Yeah.
then there's different stuff when you make fish. The pasta that you have here on average is the southern Italian pasta, which is
Hmm.
usually made with whole eggs, flour, and olive oil, and the little salt. But if you go up north to northern Italy, the pasta is made mostly with egg yolks. You use probably one whole egg, and about 6 egg yolks to complete the house. So, egg yolk is fat. So you have a very rich, buttery, yellow
Yeah.
pasta, which has an incredible but very different flavor. So even within, the different pasta dishes, you have variations, and that northern pasta is never made in a dry form. It always has to be made fresh because
Oh, wow. Learn something new.
I do
Definitely.
every day.
I know, especially like in your line of work, there's always something new. And I think as the years go by, I mean, I'm hearing of stuff, what is, well, I'm not comparing anybody to Gordon Ramsay, but I just kind of started watching that show and make this and this. And I was like, that's a thing. Like, I need to explore more and taste different foods, I guess. I need to go out there and, you know, the one thing I'm very picky eater. I have not tried Indian food. I hear it's very spicy, very hot, and that's
Which
like I
one?
won't eat, huh?
Which one? I didn't hear that.
Just Indian food in general. So
Oh,
I've never tried it, and if they say it's hot or spicy, I'm the first to be like, I'm not gonna put that in my mouth. No, 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 no.
now spicy doesn't necessarily mean hot. Spicy is the different blend of flavors,
Yeah.
and curries are beautiful. They vary by region in India. Curry that you buy in the grocery store is not one spice. It's a combination. The yellowness usually, when you buy yellow curry, the powder comes from
Okay.
sugar, and then it has again all kinds of other ingredients in it to
Yeah.
make it what it is. Now, I encourage you when you go to the Indian restaurant, start off with something that is a little bit Americanized on an Indian restaurant. It's called butter chicken. Butter chicken is let them know you want it mild. That's what they do. You will get a mild dish that is full of wonderful earthy flavors. And that's what Indian food is about, earthy flavors. But it is not necessarily hot or spicy unless you have any good Indian restaurant is very, very willing to work with you on the spice level.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
depends on how much cayenne they put in, literally. And so I want to encourage you to try that out on your next excursion. And pick one that's been around a while. That has there's a new one that I just read open up in. It's called King Restaurant, and I haven't tried them, so I'm giving a plug without having tried it.
Yeah.
But it sounds beautiful because they have a wonderful menu and they have a beautiful butter chicken, from what I understand. So I'm planning to try it myself in the near future.
Maybe that's what I
So,
need to do is kind of start this journey, like maybe once a month, go try something new at a new restaurant, you know.
and not only that, get some people together, get some of your friends together, and go together. Don't go by yourself, and get some friends together so you have conversation about, oh yeah, this I like this, I don't like this, and this is wonderful, and what it creates not only the wonderful evenings, then it creates memories. It
Yeah,
can
definitely.
come back to you later on, and it's a very, very important factor in our lives. And the culinary
Exactly.
memories are imagine, a week later, after you've had this beautiful butter chicken, close your eyes. I remember I used to go to this network marketing group when I had my catering company. I would show up in chef's uniform. It was usually at the country club, and it was a luncheon break. So at a table of about 15 or 20, I would get up and I would say, I would introduce your business. So I would say, ladies and gentlemen, close your eyes.
Yeah.
Now imagine this beautiful silky sauce covering the pasta with a wonderful aroma reaching your nose. Can you smell the tomatoes and mushrooms? And people would say,
Yeah.
where's the food? Where's the food?
Where's the food? They can smell it.
Bring the food, bring the food. I can smell it. I can taste it.
Yeah.
as the thought, as the idea. You will literally keep the flavors in.
Yeah, it's all about the flavor. And, comparing, I learned a long time ago through Meetup, comparing food with wines is always good. And I didn't realize how it complements the food. Like, so, but, it was funny. I've never wanted to, have my horizon, brought out of different foods. I like always say, oh, I only like the restaurants that start with O. So what is that? Outback, Olive Garden, and On the Border at the time. But so far, no, I've changed all that up. I'm trying different things. So it's different. And, it's funny because there's one place that I go to all the time and their food is amazing. I don't want to give away the name though yet. But it's different because it's not even really a restaurant, it's a bar. But I don't know who's cooking back there. It is amazing. So it's like, I don't like just one thing. I can go and eat their club. I can go and eat their pizza or their nachos or whatever they have. And it's amazing. So it's not made like, what am I trying to say? It's not just your everyday food getting delivered and it's just, here, we're going to put this in for you. It feels like it's homemade or something. So kudos to that place.
No, I want to encourage you that when you do go out and experience restaurants, pick the little hole in the wall place.
It's a hole in the wall. I love the hole in the walls.
That's where you can experience, that really have a for preparing what they prepare.
Yeah. So, but I want to thank you so much for actually being our guest today and coming out here and explaining your breadcrumb trail that you've been on. It's always lovely to hear people's journeys and how they got there. And, I'll put on of course, the website, www.keephealthalivepodcast.com, the links. So to find, or I want you to say, where can people come and book you and see your work and stuff like that?
Well, people can reach me at my email, which is uwemullerhospitality@gmail.com.
Okay.
Phone number, which is 972-849-2248. Or they can reach me at Uwe Muller on Facebook.
Okay, yeah. So I'll put those links also so people can jump into there right away too. So Keep Hope Alive podcast and Party Time Texas podcast together, fan page, group page, whatever you want to call it on Facebook. I have that as well. You can call and ask for any questions. Once again, it is 833-780-HOPE, which is I think 4673. But I also would like to thank our sponsors for today, lifeonrecord.com. That is your interactive, what is it? It's a guest book. It's a definitely guest book. You can leave a message. What I like about them, Uber, is so cool that it doesn't matter how long you talk. Whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, you can leave this message for them. So and then they have these little boxes that they can program all the messages in. Now, I used it for a different reason for Life on Record. I used it because on our football team, one of the boys got hurt really bad. So the boys on the team called in and said, I hope you feel better and da da da. And we're gonna get that on the system. So that is one of our sponsors, of course, partytimetexas.com, where you can come and book any vendors, caterers, chefs like yourself, DJs, bands, coordinators, photographers, videographers, photo booths. The list goes on and on and on. Our next one is Miles and Smiles. It is www.deborahrose.com. She does investigating, and she is a fortune teller or profile reader, whatever you want to call it, but she's accurate. She's so, she came into the office and bam, nailed it. I was like, girl, you are so hired. I couldn't believe how much she pinned it down, and 5 stars right away. The Dallas bridal shows. If you are planning an event or a wedding this year, they're all across kind of, Collin County and Dallas. You can go to their website, dallasbridalshowinc.com, and see where they're going to be next. I think they do have one. Let me see. I'm looking over. Yeah. The Plano Bridal Show is coming up October 29th, 2023 at the Plano Event Center. So that will be happening soon. So you can definitely go to one of those. And then our other sponsor is Bryce Harney. He's a magician. You can find him at www.brycemagic.com. This guy is a classic. He's traveling all over right now and doing shows, but he's one of the nicest people I've ever met, and he's a great, great magician. So if you need him booked, you can always go through Party Time or check out his website too. So, but other than that, do what?
I said we can all use a little magic in our life.
Yeah, magic. Make all this like food appear. He's the one to bring it on. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope we have you back, and maybe we can like put some food through the screen. All right. Until next time, love and light, guys. Bye bye.